Good morning, everyone. This is Taylor with Happiness Exploration, and I wanted to share a little yoga flow that I did this morning. Fortunately, the July heat has started to subside, at least for today, and it was a beautiful morning outside, and I decided to take advantage of it. I typically start my flows by sitting in a meditative position. I feel my breath enter my lungs and exit my lungs. I oftentimes will feel the sensation of the cool air being pulled into my body, and also notice how the warmth of my body actually heats up that breath. I make sure to check my posture as well. I'm sitting straight and tall before I move into movement. Here I start in a tabletop position and stretch each of my wrists by turning one hand backwards and then the other. And you can see that I slowly move my body in different ways, side to side, front to back. And then I move my hands to where my palms are on the ground. My fingertips are facing the long edges of my mat. And just do gentle, easy movement here. And if you feel up for it, turn those fingers back to your knees and continue the gentle movement. And just enjoy. I love stretching my wrist. It's something I oftentimes forget about. And I went back into a downward dog position, just starting to warm up my body gently here. I step forward into a forward fold, loosening up those hamstrings, halfway lift and forward fold again to really engage those muscles and lengthen them the best I can. Here I rise up completely, allowing my hands to meet the sky, and back down for a forward fold, and I step backwards into a downward dog. I put my knees down and raising one hand as I decide to thread the needle to really stretch out that shoulder. Just taking a moment here to breathe, to reset, to be thankful. Nothing is rushed here. And I reach back up to the sky, put my hand back down on the mat to go back into a downward dog. I then go back into the tabletop and reach the opposite hand all the way up to the sky. And I thread the needle once again, making sure to give love and tenderness to each side of my body. Again, there is no rush. Do what feels good in your own body. What might feel good for me might cause pain for you. And what causes pain for me might feel good for you. I think it's important to know what your own limits are. And it's also very good not to compare yourself to others and where their strengths lie. Because we all have something to offer this world. Here you see me doing some cat-cow motions, really warming up my spine, feeling it like a wave ripple through the entirety of my spine as I push back into a downward facing dog. And then I move into a plank position and up through a flow of my own. Make it your own. Here I am doing another downward dog and a three-legged dog where I open up that hip and And then put it back down and lift the other leg to open the hip. Just do what feels good and safe in your body, meeting yourself at your edge. Here I move into a seated position, catching my breath and reminding myself to continue to breathe. So I lift my arms and twist to one side, making sure that my spine is elongated. Sometimes it can help to imagine a string coming out of the top of your head, pulling you straight up. I'd go back to a neutral spine and twist the other way. And I'm admiring the sunlight that twinkles through the leaves. What a beautiful morning it is. You can do whatever you want in yoga. Here I move to a seated position where I can lie on my back and I spread my feet the length of the mat. I adjust my bun and slowly start to windshield wiper my legs from one side to center and to the other side. I do this for several rounds and I can feel my hip space relaxing just a bit more. Focusing on my breath and being in my body, which has not always felt safe in the past. But as I go along this journey and embody more and more of who I truly am, being with myself is one of my favorite places to be. And after a few windshield wipers, I'm warmed up and can feel like I can put the weight of one of my feet on top of my other knee. This increases the stretch throughout my hips, my legs, but also my lower back. I find that when my upper back is hurting, it's actually a lot of tightness that lives in my hips that need loosened. And like I did it on the first side, I make sure to do it on the second side. Lovingly breathing, being, becoming. Yoga has been known to calm the waves of the mind. Here I pull my knees into my chest and I simply circle them around and then the other way. And I cross my legs into a figure 4 and I extend my other leg to do some ankle circles one way and the other, hearing all the cricks and cracks of my ankles, stretching my legs. And here I slowly decide to turn all the way to the ground so my foot that is crossed over actually touches and plants on the ground. You can extend your arm outward and look in the opposite direction of your legs to increase this stretch here. But do what feels good in your body. Maybe one leg being straight like it is here doesn't feel good. Maybe you want to bend both of them. I knocked over my water bottle. And then I decided to go back to a neutral spine and cross over the opposite leg and give a good ankle circles to the other side before I twist and plant that foot towards the ground. You can see me using my hand to actually push my knee away from myself, which also increases some of the stretching sensation in my body. Don't forget to breathe in and out. There's no rush here. This time is just for you. For me. I plant my feet, go back to a windshield wiping motion. Before grabbing my feet in a happy baby position, I rock back and forth, massaging my lower back against the mat. I stretch one leg and stretch the other. I like doing this one at a time because it kicks me and rolls me from one side to the other. And then I slowly make myself up all the way to a standing position, mountain pose. Bring my hands to prayer position as I step into a tree pose. Bringing out my arms to be the branches and eventually grabbing that foot and stretching it outward. The key here is to look at a drishti, which is a point that you can fix your vision on to help you stay balanced. And slowly try to slide that foot back down gently to the ground. And then I lift my other leg. And this side you can clearly see is not my better balancing side. And here I grab my foot, I find my drishti, and I stand tall, proud, with my branches spread out. Don't forget to breathe. Stick with it. Stick with it. You get it. Great job. Forward folds. Halfway lift, pointing your head towards the front of the mat, and fold again. Hands all the way up to the sky. Bring them down to prayer position. Take a quiet moment here to listen to your breath. I like to place one hand on my heart and one hand on my stomach to feel my breath push my hands away. Taking a quiet moment to thank myself for showing up to my mat, and thank yourself for showing up to your mat. Thank you for watching. Namaste.